Early in my homestead journey, I learned something a little unsettling. In the county that I'll be working with, it can take at least 4 months to get a home plan approved, and even more than that to get it designed. With the short building season here in the Pacific Northwest, that one delay could push everything out by a year. And I'll be honest, I don't have that kind of time. I am, in fact, not young. And so I started looking for a different way. If you're new here, this is 6 Acre Solo. I'm building a homestead in the Pacific Northwest by myself, figuring it out one step at a time. In the last video, I officially bought the land, and the list of things to do immediately exploded. My goal was to be in the new home on my homestead by the winter of 2026. I closed on the home in November of 2025. Yeah, that's becoming what some bosses call a stretch goal. Spring 2027 is probably more realistic because around here, permits take months. Builders book out fast, the weather does not care about your schedule, and for large chunks of the year, it rains a lot. And so I started looking for anything that could move this faster, and the design process looked like a huge opportunity. My idea was simple. I'd just grab an online house plan. I wasn't that picky. Well, yes, I was. The online house plans are cheaper, they're faster, they're mostly done. That idea lasted about 12 minutes because my dream custom home, yeah, it's a little weird. I've been calling it my final home. I'm designing it not for resale value, not for future buyers, not even for my wonderful, perfect children. Sorry, guys. But for now, this house is going to be all me. All the impractical little things that I probably will regret later, but I truly do not care about right now. What I want is a greenhouse house. I love gardening. But in the Pacific Northwest, it rains a lot. So the idea of having a greenhouse attached to my home, something I can walk into year-round in my pajamas, something that I can see every day from my bedroom bed, a place full of plants the deers can't touch, and ideally where the cougars can't get me, a place that will help with heating costs for free. I'm obsessed with this idea. It's mostly Tim Ung's fault. He has a channel here on YouTube that I drool over pretty regularly. His homes are more upscale than I'm imagining building, but I love the concepts of them and I'm moving on it. My version of this house has the layout that is basically an H, with the greenhouse in the center. When you walk in the front door, you're looking straight into it. Your first impression through glass is lush green everything. I also wanted a daylight basement, which isn't at all common in the Pacific Northwest, but I have a fair amount of tornado baggage, and I also like the idea of an unheated root cellar. And frankly, I really love having a basement space that's cool in the summer and warm in the winter and kind of perfect when the power goes out. Now, I'm not a posh person and really not into the mega rooms that are so popular today, but I do want a home with an office/library because I work from home 50 plus hours a week. And once I retire, I intend to retire into reading in a very cozy space. Oh, and this library office that I'm imagining has a feature I'm irrationally excited about. A built-in saltwater aquarium with all the not-so-pretty equipment hidden behind the wall in the laundry room. That's on the first floor. See, this is what happens when you design a home without a lot of adult supervision. Believe it or not, this version of my design is way toned down from version 1. Version 1 had a tunnel to a detached greenhouse and hidden rooms everywhere because I went through a hidden room phase where I thought they were the absolute coolest. In my dream layouts, the living room, master bedroom, kitchen, and foyer all have views into the greenhouse, which incidentally is going to start as a courtyard for permit and budget reasons. We will be converting it to a greenhouse downstream. What I don't have in this plan is extra bedrooms. It only has 2. No giant kitchen, no massive master suite, no vaulted ceilings, no dining room or media rooms. These are all great things. They're just not for me. So I had my vision pretty refined. Now all I needed was someone to turn it into real plans, and that's where things stalled, which seems to be a recurring theme for me in this journey. Every architect I talked to had the same process: long timelines, booked way out, multiple phases, and a lot of services I didn't really need. And the cost, yeah, let's just say the septic wasn't the only expensive surprise in this journey. I kept thinking, I already know what I want. Why is this so hard? And so while I was trying to find an architect, I started designing it myself, on paper first. Then I took it a step further, as I often do. I learned SketchUp, which was an adventure. It's not it's not exactly beginner friendly, but between tutorials and a few YouTube nights on SketchUp, I got there. And once I did, it changed everything because now I could walk through the space, test layout, see light and flow, catch mistakes early, and most importantly, I could show it to someone exactly what I wanted in a semi-professional way, which was way better than the scratch paper and the multicolored pens that I had previously had. A few weeks in to this designing my own home, I learned something huge. You don't need an architect. You can use a home designer who partners with an engineer to get you the required expertise to get permitted. For me, that meant lower cost, faster turnaround, way less friction. I found a home designer after that pretty quickly. His name was Brandon, and that's where things started to move fast. Because instead of starting from scratch, I handed him a fully thought out plan. He asked many questions, came back with a draft pretty quickly that was really close. We had a few tweaks, and we locked in the basic layout with very little back and forth. It was so easy and so not stressful. It was amazing. We had one moment that made a huge difference. I was struggling a little bit with what we were going to have to do with the front door setting, and I wasn't liking that we were going to need some retention walls based on how my house was going to fit into the lands. Happily, when I was out visiting the property to meet with the septic team, I met with Brandon and we walked the land together. And based on the topography, we flipped the entire house 180 degrees. That one change, it will likely save a huge amount of money. Way less concrete now required, way fewer retaining walls, and honestly, a much better entry experience. This, my friends, is why it pays to include the experts. Now, before you run off to download SketchUp, just know this: home design is way more complicated than I thought it was. There are layers and layers of details required to get permitted that are very boring. It's things like the structure of your roof beams and how your house attaches to the foundation so it doesn't slide around in an earthquake. But I'm still feeling pretty pleased that the pre-work that I was able to do was allowed me to save both time and money in this journey. I'm so excited about this design. In the next video, we're tackling the well. Will I strike water? Will I not? Will I use up the entire budget trying to find it? This is the one thing that could ruin the entire project. Thanks for watching. I'm Margot. This is 6 Acre Solo, and this is Teddy, the most perfect doggo in the world. If you would like to see more of this journey, which often includes bits of Teddy, consider clicking subscribe. I'm hoping to get to 75 subscribers because that seems like a nice, friendly number. Have a great day.